These are my top 10 travel photography tips. Number 1, camera setup. Set the date and time for all cameras on your trip to be the same. This way, when you are home, you can organize images chronologically in each of your folders. Clean your lenses, please. Most lenses are dirty. Get a blower brush, a microfiber cloth. Get rid of the dirt on your lenses. Check that your camera setting for image size is large and at a high quality level. Today, memory cards are dirt cheap, so maximize your size. This way you can crop or perhaps produce very large prints later. Charge your camera batteries before touring, please. Take extra memory cards and make sure you take your charged batteries with you. Number 2, research your destinations. It's very important that you come up with a photo plan. So before and during your trip, train your photo technique. Make friends with your camera. Review your destinations. Perhaps you can look at tour operator or travel agent information. Travel books and guides are very useful, and online go to wikipedia.com and booking sites, and you can get information on where you're going. It might inspire you to create better travel photographs. Your library may have DVDs. We use those all the time to look at where we're going to give us some ideas about what we want to cover with our camera. Number 3, your first photo of the day should be words. T-shirts, posters, signs on front of tour buses, welcome signs at a state park, whatever you are experiencing. This way, when you look at your pictures later, you can pretty well predict that, those pictures are going to be where the sign is, west. So photograph these signs, make them part of your digital photo book, your multimedia slideshows, and will help you organize. Number 4, now this number 4 is really important. You want to use your exposure value button on your camera. You need to learn how to do this. Often it's a square with a plus minus symbol. It may be a little button on the back of your camera. It could be in the menu structure where you just see a scale of 0 to plus or minus. When you go plus 2 EV, exposure value, you're overexposing the shot. And when you go minus 1 exposure value, you're underexposing. So this corrects for the errors caused by your camera because it can't record both darks and brights at the same time. You have to tell the camera what's more important. Here's an example. Here's a sequence of shots where the photograph in the top right is that typical problem with a strong backlight. You really can't see his face. So by overexposing, you lighten up his face and get a better shot. This is a common problem with travel photographs. If it's too bright, the camera senses brightness, does not turn the flash on in automatic mode, and so you need to do something. Here's a sequence of shot. This is automatic. Backlight is strong. The camera flash did not go off. Dark faces. So here I forced the flash on. In sunsets, you want to always underexpose. The top right picture is 0 exposure value. Kind of a boring. The colors are not saturated. My eye saw the picture in the top left, minus 2 exposure value. So always underexposed sunsets. You get increased color saturation in the sky, and you replicate what your eye saw. The camera with a bright sunset will get confused and mess up your picture. Now, number 5, photography tips for land tours, shows, and demos. Of course, practice your camera technique so you're not fumbling when you're there on location. Tour operators and agents and people can move you around quite quickly, so make sure you have your camera ready and out to get those once-in-a-lifetime photo ops. Get in front or behind the group for uncluttered shots. And if you're in a cultural show or a music demonstration or a demo, sit in the front or at the side so you'll be able to move around. Don't block the view of other travelers. Locate yourself for uncluttered shots. Wait for the bus to move out of the way. If there are people in your scene cluttering up the shot, wait for them to move aside. Number 6, border patrol. This is an extremely important tip. You want to watch your edges of your picture. Here in Taormina, Sicily, I cut off the man's foot. The restaurant sign on the left is cut off, very hard to read, and up the top right I've cut off a person with the umbrella. So make sure that you think about what you're photographing when you travel, and is there clutter in the shot, or is there a tree coming out of a person's head? Edges breathe, don't cut them. Here's a better version of that photograph. The complete sign, didn't cut off any body parts, and you got a nice leading line. It's all about improving your travel photography by thinking about what you're doing and what you see. Border Patrol. Number 7, vary your lens zoom settings. Lenses, many people travel with a zoom lens. That's good for travel, means one lens is carried. And make sure you go more wide angle. Here's an example of a wide angle shot. Another one looking up in Dunedin in New Zealand. Number 8 tip, check for camera sensor dust regularly. And what do you do about it? Well, sensor dust is a phenomenon associated with the sensor being an electronic device, and it attracts dust because it's electrostatic when it's on. These little dots at the end of the arrows here are spots of dust on the sensor, and every picture I take will have them. Well, how do you handle this? Well, for an SLR camera, when you take your lenses off and it's blowy or dusty, try to avoid that. But what you can do is never change the lenses. Means you have to travel with limited range. You can get a newer camera that has auto sensor cleaning, which is a pretty good feature, and it basically gets rid of most of the dust. But if you still have dust after using that, you can clean it with something called the Arctic Butterfly. Check the link on this page and you'll see where to get it. Or send it to a camera repair. Pretty difficult to do when you're traveling. So I always thought that camera sensor dust was a problem with SLR cameras where you take the lenses off. But guess what? Point shoot cameras can also get sensor dust. When you zoom in and out, you're creating a vacuum of pressure, and you eventually do suck in dust. And here's an example of a point shoot photograph in the Wadi Rum Desert with the big, huge dust spot. One solution is to use a vacuum cleaner hose on the extended lens when you turn it on. And be careful, because this is a last resort kind of thing, because you could suck out the wrong items out of your camera. But be careful. But you could remove dust this way. And I've had quite a few people that have read my blog post on this subject who thanked me for saving the day. They've been able to get rid of the dust. Vacuum cleaners are available in hotels, on cruise ships, so it's easy to find when you travel. How do you like that as a great tip? Create a photo story. Number 9 is very important. Most people just take what's called the establishing shot, the snapshot. So you want to get in a medium range, get close-ups, vary the type of photograph. Otherwise, you'll bore your audience. Here's an example of a variety of shots in a little village in the Amazon River. And you get people, you get animals, you get establishing shots, you get close-ups, you get the artwork, the handicrafts, and animals. So mix it up so it makes it more interesting. In this case, this is a collage. The last tip, number 10, is our travel photography philosophy. Don't ask what I'm going to photograph today. Ask what you will be given today, and put yourself in the place of most potential, and smile. Do visit our Interface Images online photo gallery. Also, our fine art collection at interfaceimages.com/fineart. And do sign up on our blog. It's free to do so. The blog is called Images Connecting the World. It's all about travel photography tips, hints, photo stories, and adventures from our travels around the world. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.